So in this lecture, we will be studying about the electric potential and electrostatic energy and energy density. So from the Coulomb's law, we know that if there is a charge Q, then the force on, and if that charge is placed in an electric field E, then the force on this charge is given by F is equal to Q into E, right? Now, if there is a force and on a particular charge, and if you want to displace that charge by a small distance dl, then what you have to do is you have to multiply this force with that dl length, and you will get the total work done on that particular charge. Since this work done is being done by some external agent in displacing this charge, we will have to put a negative charge. If that charge is moving by itself or it is working by itself, then it will be positive. But since some external agent is moving this charge, so there will be a negative sign. Now, consider this figure. Uh, Suppose you have a point A and there is a point B, and there is an origin point, which is a reference point also. And we are assuming that there is no effect of electric field on this origin point. So this origin point is very far away at infinity distance, at which there is no effect of electric field and voltage. So from point A to point B, if you are moving some charge, so what you have to do is you have to integrate this quantity, which is minus f dot dl, uh, and linearly integrate it from this point A to point B. So you will get the total work done, or the total potential energy that is required for moving this charge from point A to point B. And it does not matter which path it takes. It can take from here to here like this. It can take like this. It does not matter. The total amount of work done or the potential energy required for moving this particular charge Q from point A to point B will be given by this equation, which is basically the integration of electric field, line integration of electric field multiplied by the charge Q. Now, if you divide this potential energy by that charge value Q, it is called potential energy per unit charge, and it is also called the voltage between these points A and B. So it is denoted by VAB. It is called voltage or the potential difference between A and B. So the unit of this VAB quantity is volt, that you very well know. And also it is called joules per coulomb. So it is given by this formula. So what I have done is I just divided this quantity W by Q. So this Q will cancel out, and you will be left with VAB is equal to minus of integral of E dot dl. So this is a very important formula or relationship between voltage and electric field. Now, as you already know, the formula of this electric field that we have already discussed in the previous lectures. If you put this value in this integral, you will get this. And from this diagram, uh, from this infinity origin point, the vector from this origin point to this A is given by RA, and this B is given by RB. And if I put these things here in this equation, and by taking the line integral, we will get this equation, right? So this you can also write it as Q upon 4 pi epsilon small rb minus Q upon 4 pi epsilon Ra. So this quantity you can call it as Vb, and this quantity you can call it as Va. So from here you can clearly see that Vab is nothing but Vb minus Va, which is written here, right? So Vb and Va are absolute potential at points B and A, because the reference point that you have taken to put these distances Rb and Ra is from origin, which is the reference point at which you have assumed that there is no effect of electric field, or the voltage at that origin or reference point is zero. So in that case, for any arbitrary point which is in some which is at a distance r from a particular charge q, then you can say that the voltage at this particular point will be given by this general formula. But considering the fact that the reference is taken as zero potential, which is at infinity. Now, suppose if your reference potential point is not zero, then in that case, you will have to add a constant in the formula of voltage. Now let us quickly see the example to understand what we have discussed. What is given is that there are 2 point charges of this and this values, which is -4 and 5 microcoulombs, and these charges are located at these 2 points, and clearly it is in Cartesian coordinate system. And we have to find the potential or voltage at a point this, which is given by 101, assuming zero potential at infinity, right? So in this formula, you will not have to add this constant because you have already assumed that the, the reference point is zero potential, right? So you write all the quantities q1, q2, and this is your formula. And you know that if your reference point is suppose somewhere here, let me call it as ref, and then there are two charges. One charge is -4 microcoulomb, other is 5 microcoulomb, and there is some vector, let me call it as a point, this as b point, this is ra, this is rb. So what will ra be? You have to find the voltage at some other point, which is suppose is given by this point p, right? And let me connect this point and call this point as r, right? So if you want to find the voltage at this point p, because of this first charge -4 microcoulomb also and this charge 5 microcoulomb also, then what you will have to apply? You will have to apply this formula: v is equal to q upon 4 pi epsilon and the distance between these 2 points, which is given by r, right? Or let me call it as capital R, sorry, because r we have already assumed capital R. So this r, the magnitude of this r vector, suppose for this, how will it be calculated? It is nothing but the magnitude of r minus ra. So in this case, here it is written as r1 and r2, right? So it is basically r1 and this is r2. So similarly, for the second charge, you will have to calculate the magnitude of r minus r2. So this one, suppose I am calling it r dash, will be nothing but r minus r2 magnitude. So you have 2 points and you already know how to calculate the distance between 2 points or two vectors. So this is how you can calculate. So in the first case, it will be under root 6, and in the second case, it will be under root 26. So I will directly put all these things in the formula. You already know all the other quantities. So you will basically get the voltage as minus 5.872 kilovolt. So this is how you calculate voltage at any particular point, which is in the influence of other charges. Now, tell me if there are 2 points and there is a voltage between the, let me call this as A and B, and there is a voltage between these points as 5 volt, right? So this is at negative, the A point is at negative and the B point is at positive. So you can say that this VAB voltage is equal to 5 volt. Can you tell me what will be the value of VBA? Which means you are now calculating the voltage of voltage point A with respect to B. So it will definitely be minus 5 volt, right? Because you are now seeing in the opposite direction. So you can also say that VAB plus VBA will be plus 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. So if you reverse and then add, then you are going to get a 0 voltage. So similarly, and I have already told you that if you are calculating voltage, it does not matter what path you take between the point A and B. So here, as you can see, there are 2 points A and B. So if you go from here to here, you will get VAB. But if you come back from here to here, you taking some other path, you will be calculating VBA. So in this way, you can say that VAB plus VBA is always going to be 0. Now, in the previous slides, we saw that this VAB voltage from some point A to B is given by the electric field as integral of line integral of this electric field from A to B. So can you tell me what will be the VBA? It will nothing but will be the same integral of E dot dl, but in the other direction, which is B from A to B, like this, right? So in the case of this diagram, if this integral is given as minus of B to A E dot dl, and this one will be given by minus of the integral of A to B E dot dl. And since if you see that this whole path is actually connected in a closed loop, so this VAB plus VBA can also be written as integral of E dot dl B to A plus, sorry, this is minus sign will be there, minus A to B E dot dl. And you know that you can also write this integral in this way. I'm writing it here. You take minus common, and you can say that it is integral of A to B E dot dl plus integral of B to A E dot dl. So you are basically circulating between A to B. So this, since this whole path is uh, making a closed path, you can write this integral as closed integral around, suppose I'm calling this closed curve as C, so closed integral C of E dot dl. And since negative sign was outside, you can say it is like this. So in other words, I'm writing this VAB plus VBA as closed integral of E dot dl, which is instant, we saw that will be equal to 0. So from this definition, we can call that the line integral of electric field along a closed path must be going to 0. It must be 0. But there is a condition. We are talking about electrostatic field, which means that electric fields are not changing with time, right? So in this case only, this is going to be this. Otherwise, you will have some other things happening, which we will see in future lectures. So in the case of electrostatics, static electric fields, the closed integral of electric field along a closed path is always going to be 0, which says that that if you apply Stokes theorem, what does Stokes theorem say? It converts closed linear integral into the surface integral, but you have to take curl of the quantity which is under linear integral. So you can equate E dot dl, which is closed integral, to the curl of this electric field in the surface integral, right? So since this thing was equal to 0, this thing will also be equal to 0, which means this del cross E is going to be 0. So you get this formula as the curl of electric field is going to be 0, which basically becomes the Maxwell's second equation. And we have already seen the Maxwell's first equation, which was del dot D is equal to rho V. Now we got our Maxwell's second equation, but with the condition that this equation that we found, del cross E is equal to 0, is for static electric field. In the case of dynamic or changing electric field, this formula is going to change, and you will see and understand in future and how it is happening. So remember, this is the Maxwell's second equation, right? Now, you know that V is equal to minus of line integral of electric field. And if we take differentiation of both the sides, this integral will go and this will become dV. And since you know electric field is a vector quantity, so you can write it also as Ex Ax plus Ey Ay plus Ez Az. Similarly, the line, this small line part can also be written as dl. Dl is also a vector, right? We have discussed in the first unit, and it can be written in Cartesian coordinate as dx ax plus dy ay plus dz az. So what you are doing, you are just taking the dot product of these two vectors. So you will finally get this quantity, right? So ex dx, ey dy, and ez dz. Now this dv, which is the uh, uh, differential of v, can be written in the form of this total differential and partial differential like this. You have already seen this in the mathematics, right? So you get this, and if you compare this with this equation, you compare this and this, what you are going to get? You are going to get ex as minus del v upon del x, ey as minus del v upon del y, and ez as minus del v upon del z. Now, you know that electric field is this equation, ex ax, ey ay, and ez az. And also, v is always a scalar quantity. So you can write this equation as E is equal to, in the place of Ex, you can write, take the minus common, you can write del upon del x Ax plus del upon del y Ay plus del upon del z Az, sorry, Az will be here. And I have taken the v outside. So this is since you know this is ex, so I have just what I have done is I have just taken ex ax plus ey ay plus ez az. So I've just replaced these things from here to here, right? So v is taken outside. So what is this quantity? This is nothing but minus del operator multiplied by v. So from here you get E is equal to minus del v. So this is also a very important relationship between E and V, that electric field is the negative of gradient of voltage, right? But again, this formula is only applicable for static electric field. So if electric field is changing, this formula is going to be modified. So that we will see in future. Now let us quickly see an example. So you are given with a voltage uh, V, and as you can see, you have theta, phi, and r. So this is basically in the spherical coordinates. And in this question, you are asked to find the electric flux density D at a particular given point, which is again in a spherical coordinate system. So you know that the relationship between electric flux density and electric field, like as this, you know the value of epsilon, and you are given with v. So first of all, you can calculate E, which is given by the negative of gradient of v, and you know the formula of gradient in spherical coordinate, which is given by this. So you have to remember this formula. You apply, put the values, and you will finally get the value of D as this, right? So I think you can easily understand and do this. Now let us talk about the energy density in a system of multiple charges which are placed in a particular points, right? So, so suppose we have some k number of charges which are placed in a particular volume at different points. Uh, we will have the total amount of work necessary to assemble them at particular points is given as the total amount of energy, which is potential energy, which is saved in that system of charges. So it is given by this formula. And for the derivation, you can just go for reference in the Sadiku book for electromagnetic field theory. And I'm just giving you the like uh, like idea how this formula came. So in the first slide, we saw that the voltage is basically given as the ratio of this potential energy by the charge q, right? So you can say that w will be given as voltage multiplied by q. So if you are having a system of multiple charges, you will have the multiplication of voltage and charge q. And since there are multiple charges, you will have to take the summation. And because of some reference point, this 1 by 2 will come in your final equation for total potential energy that is, which is present in the system of charges. So you have to remember this formula. And if there are infinite number of charges which are distributed in a particular volume, then in place of this summation, you will have to take integration, volume integration of that charge, volume charge density that is distributed in that particular volume. So both are the same thing, just the different charges has been converted to volume charge density. Now using the Gauss law and some vector identities, um, we can convert this formula into this. So we know that del dot D is equal to rho V from Gauss law, right? And so this rho V can be replaced as del dot D. And then you know that there are some vector identities, vector formulas basically for this del operator and dot product and gradients, which you can apply, and finally you will get this formula. So all this derivation is already given in SciDiQ, so I'm not going into the details. So you just go and refer these vector identities, which is applied here. Then you will finally get the expression of this energy or the work as this formula, which is basically the dot product of D and E. And since you know that D is equal to epsilon naught E, if you replace this here, you will get 1 by 2 integral of epsilon naught E square dV. So this is the expression of total energy present in the system of charges, or the volume charge density that is distributed in a particular volume V. Now, if you want to calculate the total energy density or electrostatic energy density in that particular volume, then definitely you will have to take the volume differential of this quantity WE. So when we do this, we will get this integral sign will be removed, and we will get our electrostatic energy density as the half of the dot product of D and E. And if you replace D with epsilon E, you will get this formula, right? So this is how we get our energy density due to the system of charges or distributed charges or volume charge distribution in the form of electrostatic fields. Now let us quickly do an example and close this lecture. So there are 3-point charges which are located at these points, and we have to find the energy, which is basically the potential energy in the form of electric fields in this system of charges. So if you put these points in x, y, z axis, so these will come at here, here, and here. So you see that all the points are in the x, z plane, right? So from the previous formula, which is this, you just put all the values here, and you have to calculate the distance between all of these charges, because you know that for Vk, what is the formula of calculating voltage at any particular point? Because of some other charge, suppose this charge is q here, let me call it as q1, and this charge is q2, and let me call this point as p. So the voltage at this point p will be because of this q1 and q2. So you are going to have to apply the formula q1 upon 4 pi epsilon, let me call this distance as r, capital R, into r, plus because of this q2, it will be q2 upon 4 pi epsilon r dash, let me call this as r dash. So you have to calculate this magnitude r and r dash. So this is how you will get the voltage at this particular point p. Similarly, you have to calculate the voltages at all these 3 points because of the other 2 charges. So this how you will put all these values. And what is the distance between this point, this and this? It is very simple, that you are moving in x direction by value 1, so this distance will be 1. uh, this distance is also going to be 1 unit, because you are moving in z direction by 1, but this r value is going to be under root 1 square plus 1 square, right? So this r value is going to be under root 2. So in the formula, you can see that this is 1, this is 1, this is 1, but this quantity is under root 2, right? So if you put all these values and calculate, you are going to get your total energy in the system as 13.37 nanojoule. So this is how you can calculate all the questions related to this topic. Thank you.